I actually found shoemaking by accident,
Wow.
but one of the things that made me stay
Okay.
was passion.
Passion. If I'm to ask, how long have you been into this space of shoemaking and designs?
Roughly
Kind of
10
question.
years.
My God.
I love the thrill of producing
Okay.
something, of making, having my craft
Yeah.
or my art. I feel shoemaking is art.
Oh, yes,
So
it is.
anytime I make a shoe or a slide or a bag or a slipper, I feel so excited because that thrill of bringing something that does not exist at all
Yeah.
into reality is exciting for me.
Welcome to another episode of Process with TrendSetter. Today's episode is so interesting because I have my very own sister in person of Jemima Igbeoku. She's the CEO of Jemmy Afrique Shoes and Design. I'm so happy to have you today.
Thank you.
All right, let's just get right into the question. So we know that you are a shoemaker, you make shoes, you make bags. I want to ask you, what made you to choose shoemaking amongst other crafts?
Okay, I actually found shoemaking by accident,
Wow.
but one of the things that made me stay
Okay.
was passion.
Passion.
Yes, along the line, I developed passion for the work.
Okay, so in Nigeria, we humans, whenever we hear accident, it's always related to something negative. So, what was that accident? I want you to tell us in details. Just give us a story of what the accident was, so that we can understand what caused that accident and what made you to stay. Okay, you said passion made you to stay, but let us know what the accident was.
Okay, so when I mean accident, I don't mean like the one that happens when a car
Yes,
hits
it is
you
not
on the
figurative.
road.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a season in my life.
Okay.
When Nigerian schools, we have a lot of strikes.
True.
So we
True.
had one 6 months long strike,
My God.
and during that strike, the church I attend in school had
Yeah.
a fasting season. So during that fasting season, I went to school to
Okay.
pray. So after the prayers, I went to the hostel to visit some of my classmates that did
Okay.
not go home for the strike, and they were preparing to go for a training, and they were like, you can learn anything.
Was it free?
Yes, it was free.
Oh,
We had
wow.
to pay 2,000 naira for our certificate.
What year was that?
That was 2014.
So if I'm to ask, how long have you been into this space of shoemaking and designs?
Roughly 10 years.
My God.
Because I spent 3 years to learn.
Okay.
I started business properly after 3 years.
So just to digress a bit, 10 years in a Nigerian school is what will take you to learn a medical course. Why did you just choose shoemaking over a medical course? If you're being asked that kind of question.
I love the thrill of producing something,
Okay.
of making, having my craft
Yeah.
or my art. I feel shoemaking is art.
Oh, yes,
So
it is.
anytime I make a shoe or a slide or a bag or a slipper, I feel so excited because that thrill of bringing something that does not exist at all
Yeah.
into reality is exciting for me.
Wow. Well, so I want to ask, have there been seasons in your life where you feel, discouraged? In our current country, Nigeria, there are a lot of ladies that they will prefer doing makeup, learning female kind of craft and skill. Don't you feel discouraged? Don't you feel downcasted that you learned shoemaking? Like, how do you have there ever been seasons in your life you've doubted your craft and the process you are going through right now?
Yeah. Yes, there's been a lot of
Please share
seasons.
one remarkable season in your life.
There have been a lot of seasons where I felt very discouraged with what I'm doing,
Okay.
especially when I started learning, when I
Okay.
got new into shoemaking, when I got to know about shoemaking newly. I had a season where it was very difficult for me to really grasp a lot of things that they
Yeah.
were teaching me. So there was a particular thing that made me decided that I was going to learn this thing and I was going to learn it and I was going to become the best at it,
Wow.
especially in Makurdi.
Yeah.
And that was the fact that I could not fix a button, a buckle on a shoe strap.
Yeah.
And my one of my tutors was like, he said it in Tiv. Tio Yoka Bufo.
Wow.
And I was like, Tio, I was even using the thing today
Yeah.
until another tutor of mine was like, do you understand what this person just said? I was like,
Yeah.
no, what did he say? He was like, your head is like a basket.
My God.
And that thing really, like, it struck a nerve in me. I was like, no, my head can never be a basket.
Yeah.
I need to put in all the energy, everything I need to learn this thing.
Yeah.
And that was what I did. And after, in less than a year, I would say that determination really paid off,
My
because
God.
even those people that taught me would come to me to ask me about directions on how to
Wow.
do a particular
Wow.
design, especially when it comes to female designs.
Wow.
Yes.
So, one thing about shoemaking and designs is people get to see the finished work. We don't get to see behind the process, behind the scene, and that's part of the process. That's what forms up the process. Can you give us through it? How do you handle the behind the scene? The process, the stress, the burnout. How do you cope with all that?
Oh my god. I recently came out of burnout.
Wow.
Let me not lie. Because I was working back to back, and I was not resting.
My God.
And I broke down, like literally broke down.
Okay.
But then one of the ways I was able to, or I'm able to start handling all of that, is
Yeah.
building structures.
Oh, great.
Yes, I believe that building structures in your business is very, very important. And I feel like I'm at that level where I can take myself away from the business, and the
True.
business
Oh,
will
great.
still run
Wow.
even without my input.
Wow.
So, structure is helping me do that. And one of the structures was, I have an apprentice
Okay.
that work with me,
Okay.
and I have an assistant that I work with that at least takes the load of most of the things I do. So I don't really need to like be present all the time. So yeah, structures
That's
and
one of the good
systems.
things about building business. It's not a sole proprietorship again. That's one thing that makes people able to scale up and move their business to the next level. So, what is that one funny experience you've had? Every business person, I believe, has that one experience. No matter how good you are, it's not as though you are the problem. Where they say customers are always right. So, can you
Yes.
give us that one instance, one of the craziest experience you've had with a customer or a client?
Okay. This happened like really recently
Wow.
as well. I took a shoe I made
Yes.
to someone, and it was not even the owner of the shoe that was asking me plenty questions. It was someone else. She was like, because she was there when the lady was ordering the
Yes.
shoe. So when she ordered, she told me she wanted a particular design.
Okay.
We made the design, the first prototype of the design. We took it to her, and she was like, no, that she was like, um, the other lady that was there when she made the order was like, is this the design? I was like, this is actually the exact design that she wanted.
Yeah.
But then she actually made an observation the day she placed her order. She saw a slide I was wearing, and she was like, oh, she wants the sole to
Okay.
be exactly the way the slide I was wearing
Yes.
looked like. I was like, okay, no problem. But the first design was exactly what she wanted, but then she made that slight indication. We had to
Okay.
take it back
Yes.
and redo it. So when we brought in the second prototype, the lady again, not even the owner of the
Not the
shoe,
owner.
another person entirely was not like, but she told you, why didn't you make the color
My God.
brown? Why did you make it black? Because it was a black and orange design that we did. And I was like, if we're to do it brown, because the initial one we did and we brought was
Yes.
brown and orange,
Yes.
right? And that was because of the kind of sole and
She
material
she
that we
requested.
used.
Yeah.
Yes, but then for this one now, for the type of sole material that we use, we won't be able to get an exact matching brown for
Yeah.
both the insole and the undersole. So we have to use black, which can go for both the insole and the undersole. So I tried to explain to her. She was like, no, the colors look so off. And I was just smiling because there was nothing I could do.
My God.
And and the shoes, there was no mistake on it, if you ask me. because even the owner of the shoe really liked it. So it's just this third party now that was
At that point, you were just smiling. You there was nothing else you
there
did.
was nothing else I could do. So she was not like, hey, how long have you been in this business?
Are you serious?
I told her, and she was like, okay, there's still time. You still improve. Just make sure
My
that
God.
it looks her comment was that the orange and
Bro,
black
yes.
looks tacky,
Okay.
that the brown and orange looked better.
Okay.
But then from how long I've been in business, I understand that people have preferences in
True.
terms of color, design, and style.
Yes.
So I didn't really fault her in
Okay.
any way because I
Okay.
understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then the owner of the shoe really liked it, so that was it for me.
Oh wow, it's a whole lot of experience. I can relate. I know how it is. You know, I've delivered a video where to a client where someone else that wasn't even part of the video too had that I had that same experience. So I can relate very well with it and all that. So finally, I'd like you to give us what advice will you give to young entrepreneurs starting up in the city of Makurdi, most especially tailored to your path, people that are starting up in shoemaking and design? What advice would you give to them? What advice?
First of all, as a young lady, if I'm talking to a girl and you're just getting into shoemaking, I would tell you to learn the business properly. Don't just learn the craft. Learn the business, because that was one of the mistakes I made. I was so focused on crafting that I forgot that there's a business aspect to it. So learn the business, learn the craft, and learn how to structure your business. It will make things a lot easier for you as you go
Okay, so
forward.
I know I didn't pay for this, right? But can you please go a bit deeper when you say learn the business? Let's understand what the business of shoemaking is, separate from the craft.
Okay, when I talk about the craft, making something now, you are just so focused on there are people we call artisans in
Okay,
shoemaking. Yes,
okay,
artisans are just focused on creating the shoes and bringing them to life, which is one of the things I fell in love with
okay,
creating. But then there's a business aspect to it because you have to understand pricing.
okay.
You have to understand marketing, you have to understand sales. Those are like business aspects of shoemaking that making the shoes alone would not teach you, or
Oh
learning how
wow.
to make the shoes alone will not teach you. So you have to learn how to price your shoes, how to market your shoes, and how to sell your shoes, how to brand as well. Those are like business aspects of
I think after this podcast, I'll come for a masterclass. All right, thank you very much for
yeah.
today's session with you. It was really amazing having you on the show. I hope you have
Yeah.
learned something important today. It's not just about learning the craft, learn the business, build structures that can stand without you in the place. Thank you for joining us on today's episode on Process with Trendsetter. Do like, share, comment, and tell us who next you want us to bring on the show. Thank you and bye.